Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut to give him, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, one Malak Bashai. Double honor to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach, one Malak Bashai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying. They're fasting. They're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, right? Learning, getting built up in the spirit. The single sisters are those that tend upon the Lord without distraction, and they move in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to the ancient men, the children, the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and blessings be multiplied. And shalom to everybody tuning in live on the comment board. D. Rivers, Divinely Fashion, Anthony Knox, Solomon McFadden, Yvette McKellar, Brother Believe, Don Israel, Vernon Brody, Renea A. L., and everybody else tuning in live and that will tune in, Lord willing, right? Shabbat Shalom. This is End Time Prophecies in Order, Famine and Economic Collapse, and NWO, or New World Order. So we want to go into what I like to, speak on often, which is the chronology of prophecy, and go through every prophecy, major prophecy rather, in an order or a sequence of events until we get to the point of the kingdom, huh? Right. So one of the major prophecies that are going to unfold on the earth. And if you've been watching what's going on with the economy, if you've been watching what's going on in the retail industry, if you've been watching what's going on in the restaurant and the food industry, banks collapsing, if you have been circumspect as you have been commanded to, you would notice that a brewing economic collapse is inevitable within Babylon the Great and within other parts of the earth. And with that being said, that leads to famine, sedition, uprising, riots, pandemonium, anarchy, looting, robbing, rape, robbery, murder, that's going to increase as well, man. And this is written in the scriptures. Yahweh Bashai said in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 1, that we're commanded, to speak on these things, man. Right? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Make sure this is showing. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 1. It reads, Salakia, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And there are many things that you can break the scriptures down on. You can go into the history, right? You can go into the Psalms. You can go into the law, right? You can go into the practical knowledge of the scriptures and Proverbs, Ecclesiasticus, and many things that you can use for the benefit of yourself, your household, and your people. One of the main things that the men of the Lord, the servants of the Most High Yahweh, Bashmi Abashai, have been commissioned to do is what? To speak in the ears of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord. Because everything that we're going to go through, we're going to back it up off of the scriptures. Now, we're going to show you what's going on in the earth, right? We're going to show you the current events and dive into what's happening in this economy, what's going on with global affairs. Nevertheless, everything you see going on in the earth, you can tie it directly in with the scriptures. 2nd Ezra 15 and 2. And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Everything written from Genesis to Revelation is full of faith, right? It's full of the confidence of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, right? So everything is faithful and everything is true. There's not one prophecy that won't come to pass. There's not one thing that Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua has said that won't happen, right? What did the Lord say in Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 11? He says, so shall my word be, let's actually get it, that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. So this is Isaiah, right, chapter 55 and verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. And how does the word go out of his mouth? Does the Most High have a microphone up there in the third heaven? Does he have an aux cord? Does he have an earpiece on? Is he hooked up, man, to a speaker? and you just hear the voice of the Most High from the clouds. No, the voice of the Most High is manifest through the prophets, man. Now the Lord could talk via an angel, and the Most High can send his son Yahushua. The Most High can speak through an ass like he did to Balaam in the book of Numbers, the 22nd chapter. But the Most High, he's speaking by men, prophets, apostles, teachers, and evangelists in the last days. That's the word going out of his mouth. World War III, all hell breaking loose, Jacob's trouble, martial law, destruction. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void. Right? But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. You see that? So everything's going to prosper that the Most High has said, man. Hey, the Most High is not a man, that he should lie, man. Let's get that in Numbers 23. Right? The Most High is not like me and you. Even David said in his haste, all men are liars, man. Right? So a man, he might say he's going to do something, he'll renege on it. He might make a promise, breach his promise. He might make an oath and do all types of perjury and not fulfill his oath, man. Right? This is Numbers 23 and 19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? And this is why our forefathers, they look forward to the second coming of Yahushua, man. They hastened. Like it tells you in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, the second coming of our Lord, man. We want this economy to go down. We're sick of rent, mortgage, bills, rent, insurance, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance. You understand? All types of bonds and contracts and social security cards and credit debt and damn credit scores and madness, man. Buying damn unclean GMO foods, man, and drinking this filthy, abominable water. Going to work and building up this man's system. We're waiting for this place to go down. And as we go through this lesson, a lot of brothers, you might get depressed, man. Oh, no. I thought I had another 5 more years, 10 more years. Oh, man, I thought that I was going to, finally be at the peak of my career in the next 20 years. Well, guess what, brother? This place is going down, man. And you can't trust in uncertain riches, man. You can't trust in a nation that has a ticking time bomb attached to it, man. As we go through this, I guarantee you're going to have brothers, oh, no. You're going to get all damn antsy, man, and nervous. And you shouldn't be nervous as we talk about the end of the world. You should be excited. If you're nervous in terms of you don't want this place to go down because you had plans, and the Most I don't give a damn about your plans, man, about what you wanted to do. Well, I wanted to finally live out my career. I wanted to cash out my 401k. I wanted to retire in Barbados. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 6. The Lord is not trying, he's not dealing with that, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 6. Then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Who's talking? Yahushua, when you have to understand it. He's letting you know he created all things. He's going to end all things. Verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And I love going to this precept, man, often because it shows the mentality and the zeal that our forefathers had not to dwell in the midst of wickedness, man. How they wanted to be pulled out and extracted from captivity, man. He was in captivity under the Babylonians and under the Persians, man. You think Ezra wanted to stay and be under the rule of Artaxerxes, man, and all these strange nations? He asked the Most High, man, what shall be the parting asunder of times? When is the power shift going to happen? When are we going to rule? When are these nations going down? When shall be the end of the world? We're looking for the end of the world. That's why we have to go through these lessons, man. So we're going to go through the end time prophecies in order through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Now, qualifying that, a lot of prophecies are going to run at the same time, right? So when you understand the prophecies during the time of Jacob's trouble, World War III is going to be happening. right? As that's happening, you're going to have famines going on. So as we go through these prophecies, don't expect you have one prophecy, then 5 years later, the next prophecy, then 5 years later, the next prophecy. No, man. A lot of prophecies run concurrently. They run at the same time, right? And they run in tandem with one another, you know? So we have to qualify that statement as well. So as we talk about the economic collapse and the famine, that doesn't mean that wars aren't going to be happening. That doesn't mean that persecution is not going to be brewing itself up, if not already at an all-time high. We're going to speak in whole about a major prophecy and kind of dive in it, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right, let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 11, Salakia. Let's go to Acts, chapter 11, and verse 4. Now, when Peter, I'm going to actually start at 1. When Peter dealt with Cornelius, right, and he had to actually go there to where he was, and the angel came down and he relayed the message to him. Remember that Peter, he himself, he had to relay that message and what happened to the Jews, right? Because they were questioning why he hung around a Gentile, which is really, he was an Israelite, right? Within a Roman army, a centurion. Now this Acts chapter 11 and verse 1. And the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of the Most High. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contended with him. So they started beefing. What the hell was you doing, Peter? Saying, thou wentest into men uncircumcised and didst eat with them. Right? Or you violated the law. Leviticus 20 and 24, Leviticus 20 and 26. Right? But Peter rehearsed the matter from the beginning and expounded it by order unto them, saying. So Peter, in order to convince them and relay the truth, he had to rehearse the matter from the beginning and expound it by order. So the scriptures are written like that. Now, you don't have, now certain books, they're not in order, but when you read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, etc. Those books are running in order, man. And when you take the major prophets and the minor prophets, they supplement or they intertwine essentially where those books are. So the prophecies have to be expounded by order, because a lot of brothers don't understand what prophecy is going to happen first. You're right. You might think that the chariots are going to come and then World War III happens. Or you might think it's going to be Jacob's trouble. And after Jacob's trouble, then you're going to think that Deuteronomy 28 is going to happen or some type of madness, man. Right? So a lot of things that Yahushua listed in Matthew 24, Luke 21, St. Mark, the 13th chapter, and many other chapters that deal with prophecy, they have to be expounded by order. When the second wilderness is going to happen, Ezekiel 39, where God can make Gog and Haman Gog, and the burial, put the nations in slavery, all of these things have to be rehearsed from the beginning and expounded by order that the audience may understand what's going to happen in their lives and what's going to happen in the grand scheme of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And one of the first major events, like I said, I'm going into is economic collapse and the end of this man's world, right? And I really want to play a video, right? I want to play a video. I want to kind of stop, maybe pause it, go here and there and kind of dive into that. Now, this is James chapter 5 and verse 1, right? James 5 and 1. This is a main chapter right here. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Now, these rich men are talking about really on a deeper level, the so-called white man, your elites, right, that run this government, the men that own the Federal Reserve, the men that have created the International Monetary Fund, right, the men that create the money, man, right, and enslave money through the Federal Reserve, this fiat currency, and have put nothing but murder and destruction on the earth. These are the men that James is addressing. And other men on a smaller level who thought that this world can save you, man. The Lord said miseries are coming upon you. Banks are going to collapse. What's going to come to Babylon the Great is going to be worse than the Great Depression of the late, 1920s, 1930s, man. What's coming to Babylon the Great is going to be worse than what man has ever experienced before, man. Looting, robbing, murder, men breaking into men's houses, man, for food and for lack of bread and for great tribulation. Verse 2, your riches are corrupted, your garments are moth-eaten. Because how did they get their riches? How did Babylon the Great get their riches, man? Slavery, oppression, robbery, extortion, usury, murder, lies, right? This is how they got their riches. So the Most High is about to wipe it all away from them. And he's destroying them now by little and by little. James 5:3, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. And these elites, they have actual gold bars. They had a gold standard. They had you turn in all your gold for cash, man. And many men did it. They have actual silver. They gave you fake paper currency. They have gold. They have true natural resources that can be exchanged and whose value depreciates not, man. The Most High said when it's time to bring them into judgment and you need a witness, well, guess what? The gold and the silver and the rust is a witness, man. The Most High said at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. So when it's time to judge Babylon the Great, who's going to be a witness? All of the wealth that they stole, man. Because it's going to testify against them. And the Most High, proverbially speaking, is saying, well, how did you get here? So much gold. How did you get here? So much silver. And they're going to testify, hey, the so-called white man took me over here. So they're going to be a witness and a faithful witness at the destruction of Babylon the Great. Right? And the Lord said, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire, yea, have heaped treasure together for the last days. And a lot of brothers are heaping treasure together for the last days, man. Now, the Lord did say in 1 Corinthians, let me get this, chapter 7, right, about using this world. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7. There's nothing wrong with having some money in your pocket, man. And you work your little job, you might have your little side hustle, your little business, you're getting clean money, and you pay your mortgage, your bills, your rent, and you keep the lights on, and your car break down, you get your car fixed, whatever. You know, you take care of yourself, man. You pay your bills, you know, your family, put food on the table. But once you start to covet wealth and money, now you remain in a damn snare, man. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. You see that? So you use this world, man, and you take your money and you do what you got to do, you know? The Lord said, give us this day our daily bread. But understand that the fashion of this world is passing away. We're going to go through that, man. Again, banks are collapsing. The retail market is at an all-time low. Interest rates, things are looking very grim, man. Now they're talking about Bidenomics and things of that nature. But guess what, man? Don't let the facade fool you. The Lord is letting you know. Because a lot of people, you look at what Biden said in Bidenomics. You're looking at what the politicians are saying. You're watching CNN Money and Fox Business, and you know they're telling you things are looking great. America has never looked better. Job employment has skyrocketed 5%. We're giving Americans 150,000 jobs last month. So a lot of people get seduced by these lies, man. The Most High said that the fashion of this world passeth away. So who's right, the Most High or the so-called white man? Yahweh. He's letting you know that this place is going down, man. Right? And that's why James is letting you know that certain people, they're not going to use the world. They're going to abuse the world and heap up treasure for the last days. James 5 and 4. And this is one of my favorite chapters, James 5 and 4. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. So the hire of the laborers is all of the wealth that the so-called white men accumulated through slavery. Even now, everybody's in modern day slavery, man. Whether you work in a warehouse or whether you have a white collar job in an office, you are a laborer. to fuel this man's system. But it's really going into what? The so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man from the time of the 1400s all the way up, even to this very present day, who worked endless hours, endless months, 60 hours, 50 hours, 40 hours, 80 hours, and give that wealth to this system, right? And we've reaped down the fields, man. Who was picking cotton? Who was cutting down sugar cane, man? Who was in the tobacco fields? Who was in the indigo fields? Who was out there working and laboring and reaping down the fields, man? Getting no damn food, no water, man. Limited sleep, war-torn clothes. And when you were starving to death, you had to eat pig intestines, man. And feet and knuckles and neck and all things that can't sustain you, man. Only by the grace of Yahweh Shai do we survive such madness and evil and wickedness from this man's system, man. And it's still being kept back by fraud, man. Well, we can't give you back all that higher, right? Every other nation got, not that we're vouching for so-called reparations, because a reparation is to repair something, to make wrongs right. In order to make wrongs right, we have to put you in slavery. You have to be exterminated. You know, so we're not looking for a handout and your blood money, but you're still keeping back all of the higher by fraud. You still tax every day. You still rob us every day. The Lord said, hey, we crying. And our cries have entered into the ears of Yahweh Shai, the Lord of hosts. James 5:5. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. And that's what the Most High is about to take this place down, man. Because the inhabitants of the earth have lived a life of madness and lust and covetousness and just outright sin. So let's pull this up. Now, I'm not going to play this whole video. Now, this is, I saw this a few days ago, right? Now, this is from InfoWars. This is, it's 18 minutes long, but again, I'm not going to play the whole video. I may pause it. I may play the 2 minutes straight through, right? It's all according to the spirit. So this is what if the U.S. economy crashes? Again, if you wanted to look at it, it's from not InfoWars, infographic show, right? You know, and I watched it, and I started getting excited, man. Right? I was watching it. You know, I was on the edge of my seat. You know, I dialed in, man, and you know, and I was thinking about a few precepts. A lot of precepts came to mind because you know, one thing that these devils know, these devils study people. A lot of these things, false flags, order out of chaos, you know, a lot of experiments, they run the most massive social experiments. You might see on TikTok, YouTube, oh, we're doing a social experiment. What would you do? We're going to act like this guy's poor and see if this guy helps him. Those are small level, minuscule, compared to what the so-called white man does. He runs massive social experiments. He creates entire diseases and studies how people are going to react. He studies the statistics, and that he has the cameras and he's watching people, right? He'll create a war and see how many people are going to side with the war, right? He'll break economies down and see who's going to say something. So they actually know and study based off of, you know, history and their studies, what could potentially happen in the event that the economy collapses, right? So I'm going to play a little of this. And they actually break it down by days, right? So they say day 1, this happened. Okay, day 2, this is going to happen. Day 3. So, you know, I'm going to play this here and there and pause it, right? Pull some precepts and kind of move through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai and go through some other things going on in the earth.
The United States.
Let me make sure this sound is up.
Wakes up with millions of people getting ready to play a role. The United States wakes up with millions of people getting ready to play a role in the economy. From the workers keeping the retail sector running to the stockbroker.
Oh, what did I do? All right, Salaki, let me go back to this. All right, bear with me. All right, so they're going to actually break it down, you know, day by day. And this is all fair use. This is all fair use.
Up with millions of people getting ready to play a
Right.
role in the economy, from the workers keeping the retail sector
Okay, so Lucky, bear with me.
running to the stockbrokers handling huge amounts of money. Everyone plays their part. But today is no ordinary day, because today is the day the U.S. economy begins to collapse, and it'll happen sooner than anyone knows.
So they're saying that it happens sooner than anyone knows, right? And when this economy does collapse, it's not really a matter of if; it's only a matter of when and how soon. These people are going to be caught off guard, man. These people who are looking that this society could prosper for the next 50 years. You're buying yachts, they're investing in this world, they're cashing out. They have foreign accounts and things of that nature, man. Hey, they're gonna be caught out there, and guess what? They're gonna have to deal with it. Right? They're gonna have to deal with it, man.
Today is the day the U.S. economy begins to collapse, and it'll happen sooner than anyone knows. That's not to say an economic collapse happened out of nowhere. There are warning signs all around, and many economists have been trying to tell people for a long time. Inflation has likely been high for a long time, bordering
Yeah, inflation essentially is when you print an excess amount of money and the money by default depreciates in value, right? And when you have inflation and you have a depreciation in the currency and your currency is worthless, then you're going to have all types of panic buying and all types of confusion on how people handle the money as prices begin to increase.
on hyperinflation. When money has less value, the price of goods and services goes up too. And as salaries rarely rise with them, it becomes harder and harder to afford even basic goods. The economy might have been slowing down in growth as well, with many people on unemployment. The combination of these
See, if this
two
keeps
factors
talking
leads
like this, I'll just do it the old school way, right?
to a condition called stagflation. This puts the government in an unfortunate bind, as the methods needed to lower
All right, you know what? I'm gonna just do this the old school way, right? I don't want to deal with all of that pausing and madness, right? So we're gonna do this the old school way, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? If the iron be blunt and he do not wet the edge, then must he put forth more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct, right? So I'm gonna pull this up and I'm gonna play it straight through, right? I'm gonna just show it off of my to my so-called phone. I'm gonna just show it off the phone. All right. So check this out.
getting ready to play a role in the economy. From the workers keeping the retail sector running to the stockbrokers handling huge amounts of money. Everyone plays their part. But today is no ordinary day, because today is the day the U.S. economy begins to collapse, and it'll happen sooner than anyone knows. That's not to say an economic collapse happened out of nowhere. There are warning signs all around, and many economists have been trying to tell people for a long time. Inflation has likely been high for a long time, bordering on hyperinflation. When money has less value, the price of goods and services goes up too. And as salaries rarely rise with them, it becomes harder and harder to afford even basic goods. The economy might have been slowing down in growth as well, with many people on unemployment. The combination of these two factors leads to a condition called stagflation. This puts the government in an unfortunate bind, as the methods needed to lower inflation might lead to higher unemployment. It's a bad state of affairs, but the dam is about to burst. The stock market is the method most people use to gauge the health of the economy. If it's doing well, people are likely to keep investing. But when there's a sudden lack of investor confidence in the market, it can go downhill in a hurry. And it doesn't take much. If a major player suddenly goes bankrupt or a bad economic or global news drops, people start selling their stocks. Tension over current political affairs, like the pending vote to raise the U.S. debt ceiling, only makes things worse. When some people start selling, others follow suit. And the snowball effect starts. Easy to get started, hard to stop. And that's where the panic starts. In a matter of hours, billions of dollars are lost in the U.S. economy. Major companies see their stock value drop precipitously, some losing much of their net worth. And let's not forget about the billionaires. Many of them, like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, have their net worth heavily tied up in stock holdings. That means they lose and gain billions of dollars while sleeping. And today, they might just see half their net worth disappear into thin air. It's a disaster for everyone from the billionaires to the small investors who see their retirement savings go up in smoke. Many companies see their entire net worth disappear, and by the close of the trading day, countless people are out of work and facing an uncertain future. But it's only going to get worse from here. Day 2. The U.S. government is in a panic. This is the worst day for stocks since 1929, even eclipsing the chaos caused by the Great Recession of 2008. They know something needs to be done, providing aid to keep the economic collapse from getting worse. That's what happened in both 2008 and 2020. After the stock market collapse in 2008, a costly bailout bill was proposed, giving many of the businesses who were about to fold an infusion of cash. And in 2020, as the stock market collapsed due to the coronavirus pandemic, the government provided both aid to businesses who were shut down and direct payments to Americans who were out of work. That should work again, assuming the Republicans and Democrats can work together. No big deal, right? Not this time. A hurried bailout bill designed to stop the stock market collapse is voted down by a narrow margin, with some on the far right not wanting to spend taxpayer dollars, and some on the far left wanting a more robust bill. The result is a further loss of confidence in the U.S. economy, complete with a stock market slide to match. It's starting to look much less like a recession and more like a depression, and people around the world are paying attention. The stock market has lost more than 10% of its value in only 2 days, and everyone who relies on the U.S. government for money is starting to get worried. That includes Americans and those abroad. The U.S. government runs a deficit, a massive one, and many of those dollars are owed abroad. The U.S. national debt right now is a whopping $30 trillion.
They're $30 trillion in debt, right? $30 trillion in debt. Now, again, I'm not going to play this whole video, but when you deal with this, I want to jump down a little bit. Scroll forward a little bit. I want to play about 30 more seconds.
Shelves similar to and pick up some supplies. As businesses shut down due to the stock crash and resulting bankruptcies, more people start to find themselves out of work. They worry where their next meal will be coming from, and what would happen if society breaks down as a whole. As night falls on the United States for the second time in the midst of a massive economic collapse, many people look at the news and say, we better get out there tomorrow and pick up some supplies, just in case. And that might just make things worse. Day 3. The start of the trading day is 9:30 a.m. and most people heading to the stock market floor look like they're heading to an execution. No surprise, things look grim from the moment the trading starts, but elsewhere there's already chaos. Grocery stores around the country are seeing a surge in buyers, emptying shelves similar to the way they did in the early days of the pandemic. The sense of uncertainty has driven people to worry about shortages, and that means they're going to create those shortages themselves by stripping the shelves. Soon news footage starts coming out, and it's not good, because when people are in a panic, they act out. The first footage shows two old women.
When people are in a panic, they act out, man. Once people start getting word that this place is going down, and once they start getting word that the economy is collapsing and that the stock is at an all-time low, people are going to do what you call a panic buying, man. Right? People are going to do what you call panic buying, and that's when you buy an abundance of goods, hoping that it can sustain you for the troublous times that are coming. Now I'm gonna go back to that video, but right now you have, let me pull this up. This is from dailymail.co.uk. So in that video I was playing, again, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. You can watch it on your own. They go day 1 through day 10 of what will happen when the economy collapses, right? So they actually break down how the riots are gonna be. They actually kind of give an explanation about how people respond to those types of that breaking news, right? Now, this is from June 5th, 2024, right? June 5th, 2024. Let me play this real quick, right? Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America among U.S. banks to shutter 79 branches in just over a month. It's yours affected. And if you've been watching, more and more banks are being closed down, man. More and more banks by the day are being closed down. It might, if you have Wells Fargo, you might have Chase, right? Bank of America, like they said, Capital One, and all of these different types of services and credit card services and banks and things of that nature. They're going down, man. Right? They're going down. Now, even a lot of regional local banks, they may not have these top high-end names, but even a lot of these local banks are collapsing, right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, right? It says U.S. banks closed 79 branches in just 6 weeks as the industry increasingly offers services online. The figure suggests the axing of costly closures so far in 2024 above 400. Above 400. So more and more banks are collapsing than the world has ever seen. They've never seen such major banks, corporate America, just falling apart, man. Just falling and falling. Now, these banks usually buy the little banks, man. When the little banks, because when you put your money in the bank, they take your money and they use your money in other business affairs, man. They might take your money and invest it in this, or they might take your money and give it to this guy. And so they don't keep, $50 trillion in the bank. So when people start noticing these banks are collapsing, they're going to start to go to these banks, man. Right? Say, can I get my money? Now they might not have your money in the bank. They might say, hey, look, we're going to do a limited cash withdrawal, man. Because they don't keep everybody's money in a big bag somewhere, man. And say, oh, here's John Smith. Here's your money you gave us. We kept it right here for you. Here's your money back. No, man. Hey, John Smith, you put your money in the bank. Hey, these guys, they'll take you. Let's say you put 10 grand in the bank. They'll take your 10 grand, take 5 grand, and put 5 grand in this investment, man. Right? Or for interest, man. They'll make a move with it over here. So if you go back to get your 10 grand as John Smith, they might not have your 10 grand. They might not have it, man. So a lot of people are going to be hot about these things, man. A lot of people are going to be hot, and it's going to trigger a massive, in process of time, a massive riot, man. As these people begin to understand that the so-called white man has done nothing but play games with their money, man. And when people can't get their money, people are going to, they're going to lose their damn mind. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Right? And what did they do to Adoniram? When you read the book of 1 Kings, actually, let me get that first. Right? Remember, Adoniram, he was over the tribute in the time of David and in the time of Solomon and in the time of Rehoboam. So he was like a financial guy, man. He was over all of the levies. Now, when the people were being oppressed, they ended up killing this guy, man. Because this guy was pressing them out so hard for the money, and they didn't have the money. So it was a riot in Israel, and they actually stoned the man that was over the money, man, over the tribute. Now this is let's get that. This is 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse Salakia. I want to jump up right with the Donaram. Right? Oh, Adoram. Salakia. This is 1 Kings chapter 12 and 18. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. Therefore, King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot and to flee to Jerusalem. Man. So these world leaders, people are going to be trying to get him. Man. They're going to march to the Capitol buildings. We want our money. People are going to massively protest. They're going to be on social media talking about it. Right? They're going to march to these banks. A lot of these people, man, they're not going to wait in line. And they're going to figure out where their money is, man. And that little security guard, he's going to figure out where his money is, man. Hey, some of these bank tellers, they might start taking that money, man. These guys that know the code and the safe and the secrets of these matters, they might take that damn money, man. So when people can't get their money and people are being oppressed financially, people begin to riot and kill. And they stoned this man with stones, man, all over the money. And a leader, Rehoboam, he had to get out of there. So a lot of these world leaders, man, chiefly in Babylon the Great, they're going to hide themselves when this economy goes down the drain, right? Because what does the law say? Let's go to Leviticus 25 and 14, right? This is Leviticus chapter 25. So like I want Leviticus chapter 25 and 14. So the law teaches you about usury. It teaches you about how to deal with your money, right? How to deal with your brother, man. Right? Leviticus, I believe I want 25 and verse 14. Right? This is Leviticus chapter 25 and 14. The law teaches you how to deal with these matters. It reads, if thou sell aught to thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. Now, Esau, he sells you things, man. Chiefly, well, he really loans you his currency. He loans it to the government. The government, by default, they loaned it unto you, right? Everything they get, they got to pay interest on back to the Federal Reserve. You're in debt for every dollar that you have, and you're constantly being oppressed. The Lord said, ye shall not oppress one another. And when you hold up people's money and they can't get their money back, man, guess what, man? That's oppression. You give a guy $50, you ask for your $50 back, he can't give it to you. Hey, that's a big deal, man. And people not going to take that lightly, man. Like they had that commercial, it's my money and I need it now, man. That was a damn commercial. The damn lump sum commercial. So when these banks really start going down, and another thing the so-called white man does, real quick, is he lends you on usury, man. Right? Everything he gives you, it's on interest. This is Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. See that? So guess what, man? They're not supposed to be giving us this money anyway. That's a sin within itself. This whole system is full of sin. Can't be loaning people, here's $50. Okay, but every $50, there's a 5% interest rate on it. For every dollar that I give you, you owe me 5%. Or whatever type of interest that they put. That's what usury is. Usury is interest, right? So again, even enforcing this currency that he has created was a sin the day that he created it. The day that the Federal Reserve Act was passed and the day that they went and made that decree and lent usury to the Israelites, that became a sin when they lent usury upon money and usury of victuals, man. There's a sales tax for foods you have to pay, taxes for clothes you have to pay, interest for this. Anything that's lent upon usury to an Israelite is just outright sin. Outright sin. So that's why James 5, it says, you have heaped treasure together for the last days, man. And the cry of the laborer has entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Now, even in the law, they're supposed to pay you the same day too, man. They're supposed to pay you that exact same day, right? So let's get this. This is from gbnews.com, right? It says bank branch closures in U.S. to hit 1,300 by the end of the year. And it's only going to get worse and worse, man. If you're really hoping in this man's economy, they've never seen bank branches close the way that they've been closing. Now, even in this man's system, right? It says, even in this man's system, if you, it's like I lost my train of thought, right? But even in this man's system, when these banks begin to close, again, people are going to start, losing their damn mind, man. 1,300 by the end of the year. By the end of the year. Right? Let's see. Banks, including Bank of America and PNC Bank, are continuing to close branches and they blow to customers. And another thing I was going to say through the spirit is these banks, Bank of America has been found for actually watching what you're buying, man. A lot of these banks, they're watching what you buy. Right? So if you're known for buying Bibles, apocryphers, menorahs, shofars, mitris, garments, incense, cat boots, whatever the case may be, they're watching you, man. Right? So a lot of you Israelites, man, they target you through these banks too. Their goal is to kind of have this one central bank, this one central currency. So they're breaking down these little banks, little by little, breaking down the big banks, right? Big banks taking over the other banks. The currency is being damn depleted out the earth, man. Through inflation, it's going to get to the point where your dollar isn't worth any damn thing. So all of the money you heap together, it's not going to be worth anything. Once that inflation goes out, man. at an all-time high, right? That's why the Lord said in Ezekiel, let's get this in Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, right? Even as these banks begin to close, the dollar is going to lose its value more and more, man. You even got other nations just saying, look, we're not dealing with the dollar right now, right? We're not dealing with the dollar. BRICS said they're going to make their own currency, right? They're going to make their own currency and they're going to do what they want to do, man. So they're not looking to even use the US dollar. This is Ezekiel, and you have a lot of nations that are looking to join BRICS, man. They're looking at the West fall. The only people that are still trusting in the West, when I say the West, I mean America and the Western European nations, all the people still trusting in them are a bunch of damn fools, man. Chiefly, these so-called Negroes, man. The only people that still are looking at this place as if it's going to continue. Even China, Russia, these other nations, they say, oh, hell no, man. America is on its way out. But you Negroes, man, you still love your job. You still love your career. You love getting this money. You're dropping your damn slingshots. You're buying all the gold, man. Gold chains. It's just folly, man. You have no idea what's going on the earth, man. Right? This Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 17. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. They shall gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. People are going to be miserable, man. And these Babylonians, man, when this place goes down, as these banks collapse, as they try to push this new world order, as there's no food, no water, with looting, rioting, your local grocery store, your Kroger, your Myers, your Shoppers, whatever local grocery stores around you, your Giant, you're going to be looting these things, man, robbing them. Now, at first, they're going to say, hey, look, you can only come in like they did during the pestilence, and you can only buy this much worth of groceries, right? You can only buy this much. And then, you're going to say, okay, well, I bought this much, but you might need more, man. So people are going to start stealing. Then they're going to have longer lines. And if you don't get in line first, you're going to be caught out there. Right? You're going to be caught out there. Because a lot of people are not going to wait in these long-ass lines, man. It's 50 people and they got to eat. You think they're going to wait in a long line to get food, man? All it takes is one person to get carnal, then the next man get carnal, and everybody looting the damn store. Old ladies getting trampled, children getting trampled. And if you get there's no food, and guess what? You got to deal with it, man. That's why if you're not under the protection of Yahweh Bashmi Abashai, you're going to be caught out there. Ezekiel chapter 7 and 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So people are going to be casting silver and gold into the streets, man, because the money's not going to be worth anything. That's what happens when you have inflation, man. What do you think is going on in Venezuela? Where's that video? I had a video in Venezuela, and we put this up before. But in Venezuela, the inflation is so damn high, they're just dumping it out as if it's nothing, man. Nobody takes that. I thought I'd be able to see if I could play this. Right? Let me see if I could just find a video. You see that? Venezuela inflation is so high, these people are dumping money like it's trash because it doesn't matter anymore, man. You took all that money and put it in the bag. It doesn't mean anything. That's how the dollar's going to look. Has no value. They print it so much. There's so much of a excess to it, man, that the people are going to begin to damn toss it as if it's nothing, man. Right? They're going to toss it as if it's nothing. They're going to try to switch to a possible global digital currency. You understand? And in process of time, all of the paper money that you have, it's just nothing. You're not going to be able to get it from the bank because you're not going to be able to have it. People are going to be cast in the streets if you do have it, and you're going to be caught out there. And your silver and your gold ain't going to be able to deliver you, man. So you brothers have all this money and you're trusting in this money, all this wealth. You got this nice fancy job. You're getting all this money. You just bought your house. You bought your new car. You put your down payment. Hey, look, man, there's nothing wrong with, taking care of yourself in this society, but you can't make that your God. You can't make that your trust, man. You can't trust on uncertain riches, right? Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 6, right? 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, and I'm going to read verse 15. Actually, I want 2 Kings 6 and 25, right? 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, and I'm going to get verse 25 through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Now, this is during the time of our forefathers, right? And during this time, you had a famine brewing in the earth, right? Now, this is 2 Kings 6 and 25. It reads, "And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver." So you had, it got so bad. Food was so scarce. The economy was so bad that dove's dung was sold for 5 pieces of silver. Dung, bird, doo-doo, crap, waste, defecation. 5 pieces of silver. That was a big deal. Then the damn ass's head, man, was sold for 80 pieces of silver. So a brother might have an apple. Hey, look, man, that apple used to be, 50 cents, 30 cents. Now that apple's worth $500. Right? You see the prices increasing, man, on things. Even in a Dollar Tree, man. They said the Dollar Tree, everything used to be a damn dollar. Now they said things in the Dollar Tree. Where is it at? I saw that too. They're going to boost that up. Let me find that. It's at least $7, right? Where's that one at? $7 is going to be the maximum price at the damn Dollar Tree, man. How is the Dollar Tree raising prices when they're the Dollar Tree? Look at this. This is from thehill.com. Dollar Tree to raise prices again in 2024. A lot of people thought they could kind of just make it off the Dollar Tree. I'm going to drop there, kind of get this, get that. And it's getting bad out here, man. The Dollar Tree isn't even a dollar store anymore, right? Family Dollar been, skyrocketing prices, right? Let me see if I close this out. See, Esau always wants you to damn pay for something, right? It says Dollar Tree to raise prices again in 2024. It says, but even as our multi-price assortment expands over time, the vast majority of the items sold in Dollar Tree stores will remain at our entry-level fixed price point, right? So some things are still going to be $1, but now what did they say? It says the new maximum price of items sold at Dollar Tree stores will be what? $7, right? Will be $7. The recent price limit increases comes not long after Dollar Tree Inc., who also owns Family Dollar, announced the closure of more than 1,000. Watching more and more stores have been closing too. It's not big banks closing down, close down. You got retail stores closing down. More and more buildings are vacant. People can't afford to, go out and pension. Rob is going to get to a breaking point. Like you read in Ezekiel, they're going to be casting their money in the streets, man. And you add in 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, a full-fledged famine, man. Right? A full-fledged famine in the earth. Now, this is another thing. This is from MSN, right? Bank of America. Pull this up. Closing 15 branches in 6 states this month. So if you got Bank of America, a lot of people are looking at this like, damn, do I get my money out? Is this going to hit my local city, my local state? Where is my money going to go? A lot of people don't even know, right? Because they're on TikTok all day, on Facebook. They have no idea how a bank operates, man, and what they do with money and how these affairs happen. So people are going to pull up on their bank, man. They're going to call out of work and try to get this money that they won't be able to get, man. And they're going to have to deal with it, right? They're going to have to deal with it. Customers of Bank of America are being warned over the latest round of pending branch closures. The nation's second biggest bank is set to close 15 more sites later this month as it moves operations online. Bank of America has over an estimated $2.5 trillion in assets, but that is not stopping the institution from closing branches in 6 states, right? All banks are federally mandated to report any closures to the Office of the Comptroller of Currency at least 90 days before they take place, right? So this is the beginning of the end. What you're looking at with closures, inflation, prices skyrocketing, you're looking at the beginning of the end of this man's economy, man. And guess what? A lot of other nations are watching this too. America owes a lot of nations money, man. They owe China, And what happens if you owe the so-called white man and you can't pay your car note, man? What does he do with your car? He repossesses it, man. He takes your car. He seizes your assets, man, and your goods. What happens if you can't pay your house, man, your mortgage? What do you think the bank does, man? They say, look, if you can't keep paying, we'll take that back. Foreclosure, take your house, do what they want to do with it. If Babylon the Great can't even keep their own economy going, they're not going to be able to pay these other nations back. So any buildings, any operations going on in other countries, those nations, they're going to own those things now until they get their money, man. So, this is a big deal going on in the earth, man. This is a big deal going on in the earth. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24. Right, Salakia. Right, I want to go to Isaiah, the 24th chapter. All right, Salakia, bear with me. Make sure this is right. Salakia. Satan causing this thing to lag a little bit, so bear with me. I want to go to Isaiah chapter 24. This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. All right, Salakia. Okay, Isaiah chapter 24 and 1. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priests. So there's no respect of persons when the Most High begin to judge the earth. From the common people unto the priest, right? As with the servant, so with his master. Yeah, the CEO, the CFO, COOs, garbage collectors, middleman, fast food workers, whether you're a servant or a master. As with the maid, so with her mistress, right? You got secretaries, you got people, that work for other people. It reads, as with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. So the buyers and the sellers still going to get it, man. Which means any people that are looking to keep their lives prolonged in Babylon the Great through commodities of buying and selling, you're not going to be able to save yourself, man. It didn't say just, okay, that the wicked man. It said the priest, the people, the servant, the master, the buyer, the seller, the lender. Who's the lender? The banks. They are the lender. Who's the lender? The Federal Reserve. They are the ultimate lender. Who is the borrower of the money? Babylon the Great, man. That's on a macro level, man. On a micro level, the lender are these local banks, man. Your Wells Fargo, right? Your M&T banks, your PNC banks, your Banks of America. Those are your smaller micro level lenders. And the consumer is the borrower. These banks are the takers of usury and the givers of usury. That's why the Most High, he's not just going to break down the military of Babylon the Great. He's not just going to break down the religious structure and the false prophet structure. He's breaking down everybody that runs this society, man. The buyer, the lender, the seller, the borrower. And we're borrowers, man. We borrow everything, man. Time. We borrow money. We take out loans because we can't pay our damn bills and things of that nature. So guess what? You're going to be caught out there, man. If you're not, again, under the spirit and protection of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, right? Now, this is, let's see what else I wanted to get. Of course, we all know this is the live running U.S. debt clock. Now, if you look to the left right here, the U.S. national debt, $34 trillion and counting. Debt per citizen, $103,000. Debt per taxpayer, a little over $250,000. And is this decreasing? No, it's increasing every second. Every second you breathe and you're alive in Babylon the Great, you accumulate debt. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Now you can say, well, I didn't make this, man. Right? You can say, well, how do we know that that's true? Well, you can look it up, man. Everybody knows about the debt clock and how much Babylon the Great owes, man. Right? Nobody's making this up. $34 trillion in debt. And they're not going to get out that debt, man. That's what the Most High spoke of the borrower, man. Because they borrow from China. They borrow from the Federal Reserve. They borrow from the Arabs. They borrow even from Russia, man. Hey, man, and when you watch that movie, what's that movie? Damn, man, it's the movie with Frankie. I can think of a few movies, man. What's that movie, man? With Frankie, he was singing. You know what I'm talking about? And they had the woman in there. He owed all the people the money. He was getting high, Damn, I can't think of it. But another movie they had, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. They said, "Where my money, Frankie?" And they came and they beat the hell out of Frankie, man. Right? Let me see if I can find that movie, man. All right. What was that? Let me see. That was Frankie Lyman, right? Brother know that thing, man. Right? So they had that movie. Then you had another movie, Mo Better Blues, man. Fools Fall in Love. You see that? The water for that, right? Right? I believe it's Why Do Fools Fall in Love or Fools Fall in Love. And they beat the hell out of him, man. Because he was in debt so much, man. And this guy was getting high. He was taking out loans he couldn't pay back. He was gambling. He was dealing with loan sharks. And it caught up to him, man. All the debt is eventually going to catch up to you. Right? Why do fools fall in love, right? And then in Mo Better Blues, with Spike Lee joint, Spike Lee played the manager over the band with Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes and all of them. Now, Spike Lee was in over his head, man. He couldn't pay that money back to keep leasing out that those shows for those guys, man. He was taking out 1,000 here. He was gambling over here. And what did they do to him? They pulled him out in the alley. You can watch it on your own after the Shabbat, but they pulled him out. They beat Denzel Washington, you know, and they ruined his whole career. And they damn near beat him to death, man. These nations, they don't play around with their money, man. Let's go to I had a precept in mind. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, right? Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, right? Habakkuk chapter 2. You want Babylon the Great to give you reparations and to get you all this money. Guess what, man? They could even get themselves out the hole they in. They're over $30 trillion in debt. Where's my money, right? This is Habakkuk chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse, this whole thing is good. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and I'll start at 5. Now, Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, is speaking about the so-called white man. And again, no, it's not going to say white man in there. How do you know it's the white man, right? It doesn't say Esau or Edom. It don't have to say Edom or Esau all the time, man. Like I like to say, man. I don't have to say white man in there. You have to know through discernment, man, and through the spirit, through the context clues, through extrapolation. That's why the precepts all link up. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So the so-called white man sins by his wine, which are his philosophies. Democracy, he'll go start a war in the name of democracy, right? When he goes there in the name of God and Jesus and the savior of the earth and the police of the earth, and they'll build the embassy there. Then, 2 years later, they have a military base. 3 years later, you see a McDonald's. Then you might see a Roman structured building up there, right? A Capitol building. Then you might see a Burger King. Then you might see a sodomite bar, right? And they do this in all these other nations, man. You might see a J.C. Penney's out there, Fridays, man, Ruby Tuesdays, and they turn all these nations freaked out into Babylon the Great, man. And they sin by their religion, man. So all these nations have to bow down to the beast based off of the wine that they produce. And he's a proud man, and he don't stay at home because he's in every other land. Now, this is verse 6. So all these nations that he heaps up, Habakkuk 2 and 6, it reads, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So all of the nations that Babylon the Great destroys, robs, oppresses, guess what, man? They're going to start speaking up about it, right? And they're going to turn against America. Death and destruction, that's what woe means. To him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Right now, when you go into this word, let's go into this word, thick clay. It doesn't mean Play-Doh or clay out the earth. Right? Now, this word thick clay, right? It goes into how much you actually owe these nations. Right? Which is your debt that you owe. Now it says, weight of pledges, heavy debts. Heavy debts. So the Lord said, how long are you going to sit there and have these heavy debts, man? You're $34 trillion in debt. You owe China this. You owe Russia this. You owe this nation this. How long, man? Here you are, rape, robbing, and murdering the earth. Where the hell is my money at, man? You know? Where the hell is, all of the funds that you owe me? So it's only a matter of time before these nations take up that taunting proverb and really turn against Babylon the Great, man. And they're watching these banks collapse. They're watching this society crumble. And again, the only people who aren't watching is the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. What they're worried about is who's going to win the championship game, who's going to win the NBA Finals. Is somebody going to finally respond in the beef, the rap beef? When the next Jordans are coming out? What's that new strand of weed? Where Keisha and Tamika going to be at? This is all the Negroes worried about, man. It's so-called Saturday morning. They might just be waking up with a hangover. You know, they might have woke up, they, popped a woman. Might be rolling up a damn blunt, man. Wondering what the move is going to be today. They have no idea what's going on the earth, man. And even when the Most High set up the men to tell you, they ignore it, man. And take it as a thing of naught. So you have the U.S. national debt clock, again, every day. It's going to increase and increase, man, until this place is destroyed. And you're in debt, man. You're born into debt. First of all, you're born as part of this man's corporation. They give you your number. Whatever your social security are, here's your damn slave number. You don't really have a name. You have a business name. We all know that. That's on your birth certificate, right? Which enlists you, and your social security enlists you part of this man's corporation. And they say, here, you're born in the earth. Here's over $100,000 in debt that you owe. Then you're in the ghetto. You're in the projects. You owe all this damn money. You don't know how to spend your money. Jake, you don't know what to do with money, man. You don't have any financial literacy. You buy big chains, rims on your car, tents, 5% tents, and you just splurge, man. You get on like, yes, I'm talking money. You lay all your money out on your wrist. You spell small words. You spell out small words with your money, man. But you don't know what's going on. You have no idea what's going on. So when this place go down, I can't say it enough, man. You're going to be caught out there, and you're going to have to deal with it. Now, this is from these financial wise men and scholars. This is from MoneyWise, right? No longer the American dream. Grant Cardone says people under 30 should not even consider buying a home. Here's why he's so against it, right? Plus 3 alternative ways to invest in real estate. So it's no longer the American dream, man. You can no longer buy a house for $10,000, man. Look at these houses that was, people that owned these houses in the 50s, 60s. How much did they pay for a house, man? What did they have to do to get a house compared to what you have to do to get a house, man? Interest rates and, all of these damn PMIs and expenses and HOAs and loans and all types of madness, man. You're not living the American dream. You got to damn pinch your last penny, and then your mortgage is damn unaffordable, man. You're not going to be able to pay the taxes. You ain't going to be able to pay your mortgage. Then you got to pay other loans. Then you got to pay your damn electricity, your gas, your electric. You got to pay water, right? You got life insurance. They taking that out your check. Medicare, Medicaid, state tax, damn city tax, right? They took damn 20% of your check off, man. You got to pay your car off, and you got to pay food, man. So you can't live life here, man. And you already owe money on a deeper level to the Federal Reserve in this system, man. Right? So this is not the American dream. They're getting to the point where they say, look, if you're under 30, don't even worry about buying a home. They're saying now U.S. mortgage rates have hit a 2-decade high of 8%. This is, October 2023. This isn't even that long ago. U.S. mortgage rates have hit a 2-decade high of 8%. And the word mortgage, what does the word mortgage mean? Right? Let's put this word mortgage. lot of people, yeah, finally paid off my mortgage. I got to pay my mortgage. Well, here's what the word mortgage actually means, right? A lot of people, you just, you're just walking aimlessly, right? So mortgage, it says a conveyance of property on condition as security for a loan or agreement, meaning you have to pay to keep that property. Mort meaning dead or death, and gage meaning pledge or wage. So it really means like a death pledge, right? To a death pledge, man. See, more means to die, like a mortician, right? Or mortgage, it means death or die, and a wage is a payment. Because by the time you pay your damn mortgage off, you about to die. You might be 70 years old, 85, finally paid my mortgage off. If you don't pay your mortgage off, you're going to look, it means a dead pledge, right? Because you're going to be out of here, man. They foreclose your home, they take it away from you, right? So it's a death pledge right there. Now, the Most High, he speaks about pledges. There are certain pledges that you can take, certain pledges you can't take. I'm not going to go through all of those precepts, but you can't take a man's garment as a pledge. How is he going to sleep? You can't take away a man's living, his upper and his nether millstone, because he has to grind his mill so he can make food. You can't take away a pledge of a man's livelihood. Certain things you can't take away from a brother as a pledge. A pledge is simply something that you give somebody or you take from somebody that they can, hold on to something, right? That's what a pledge is. So they'll give you a house, but you got to pay for that, man. If you don't pay for that, they'll take it back. And where's that in the law? You could just take somebody's house back. The government can just, that's not Leviticus 25. Read Leviticus, the 25th chapter, deals with houses in walled cities and houses in the village. Now, these would be walled cities compared to the law in Leviticus 25. Let's get it real quick. So this system, Leviticus 25 deals with housing. It deals with land, how to conduct yourself, right? This Leviticus 25. That's why this society is a wicked system, man. Right? This Leviticus chapter 25. And I'm going to jump down to verse. Let's start at 29. If a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a 4 year, he may redeem it. So a brother might sell you his house. It's in a walled city. He could buy that house back, man. Now, he might redeem it. He might have been poor. He had to sell his house. He might not have had enough money. That's why he had to sell his house. You can't hold on to his house forever and say it is what it is. You got to give that brother back his house, man. Now, why do you have to give him back his house? Because technically, that house is free, for lack of better terms, because that house isn't part of the land. It's within a walled city. Now, if you have a house that's not part of a walled city, that house is part of the land. And by the law, the land cannot be sold forever. Right? So if you have a house in a village or in a rural area or a country, you treat that different than a house that's being sold in the city. Is a so-called white man keeping these laws? No, he's not keeping these laws. He heaps up house upon house. You understand? He stacked you all. Where's apartment complex at in the scriptures, man? Where you just stacked up on top of each other. If one guy then fall asleep and the stove on and it's a damn fire, everybody dies, man. You hear somebody damn fart, man. You hear somebody burp. It might be people damn committing fornication. You hear it all in the walls, man. This is a no privacy, no damn peace, man. That's hell, man. Where's projects at in the scriptures? Okay, we're going to make a building. We're going to make it 40 feet high. And we're going to box it all in. Let's box it in with high walls, man. Let's put police in there. Let somebody piss in the elevator real quick. right? Turn the heat up. And the projects are hell, man. It's hot. It's violent. You got all types of turns and dark corridors and the lights flickering on and off. And it's madness, man. Where's it at in the scriptures? How the hell are you going to leave, man? You can't even leave if you're on the top floor. Kind of caught out there. So Esau, when you really get into this law, there's not one law that he's keeping. Right? Where is banks at, man? Okay, thou shalt make a central bank of Judah, a central bank of Levi, and a central bank of Benjamin. And thus shalt thou have the CEO, right? And he's going to loan you money on interest, and you take it. That's not in the scriptures, man. Now you have money exchangers, right? When you read Matthew, I believe that's the 21st chapter, right? John, the 2nd chapter, when they sat down and people that came from Jerusalem, they would exchange their money to use the money that could be spent in Jerusalem, right? But they would give you that money and they would put that money on interest to the people that came from Jerusalem, which is off, right? Nevertheless, Leviticus 25 and 29. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year, he redeem it. Now, in Isaiah, let's go to Isaiah the 8th chapter. I'm going to go back to Leviticus 25. I believe that's Isaiah 8, right? Let's see if this is what I want. This is Isaiah chapter 8. Let's see. I have to get this precept. Maybe the 5th chapter, right? Maybe Isaiah the 5th chapter, right? I believe it's 5, right? Bear with me. Now, here's another law or another judgment that the Most High decreed when you read the book of Isaiah. And you compare it to how the so-called white man lives, and it further shows that he's not keeping no law, man. Right? He's not keeping this Isaiah the 5th chapter, right? He's not keeping this Leviticus 25. Right, so Salaki, I thought it was Isaiah 8 and 5. It's Isaiah actually 5 and 8, right? Isaiah 5 and 8. Woe to them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. So you're not supposed to have a government that makes people join house to house, man. Like townhouses, they're all stacked up to each other. Row houses, they got them in Baltimore, Philadelphia, other parts, right? They're all stacked up house and house. Apartment complex, multi-family units, dwelling units, MDUs, projects. First of all, it's unsanitary. Second of all, it's unsafe. Third of all, it's just outright wicked, man. And you lay field to field, man. You get no privacy, man. Your landmark conflicts with this brother's landmark. Somebody damn throwing trash in your neighborhood, man. In your backyard, Dog hopped over the fence. They're attacking your kids because y'all are stacked up, and it's madness. See, Esau do that he could be placed alone in the midst of the earth. So he can have this nice mansion. He move all y'all out stacked up in the city. He lives in a secret damn part of the earth, and he's alone with his mansion and his acres and acres of field. Now, all you Negroes, y'all could be all stacked up on top of each other. Because if he didn't stack everybody on top of each other, he wouldn't be able to live alone in the midst of the earth, man. So the Most High is against how this society operates. Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 30. And if it be not redeemed within a space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever. To him that bought it throughout his generations, it shall not go out in the jubilee. So if you sell a man your house, you might have fell in hard times or, whatever the case may be, you got 1 year to get it back, right? If you don't get it back in 1 year, that's that man's house forever. That's how it works, man. You don't have to pay. He don't have to pay you again, man. There's no mortgages in the scriptures, man. That's not how it operates when you sell a house to somebody. You sell a house. This guy got 1 year to redeem his house back. If you don't redeem it within 1 year, that's your house. And even on the year of Jubilee, which is what? 7 years of 7, which is 49 years plus 1, which means 50. So on the year of Jubilee, when there's a release and redemption of land and debts and bonds, this house still belongs to him. Because you had 1 year to get it back, but you didn't. And it is what it is, man. But there's no mortgages. There's no death notes, man. You got to keep paying this guy every month. Where's that at in the scriptures? Where's HOAs, PMIs, usury? Where's that at in the scriptures, man? That's what the Most High's break. See, this man didn't just enslave the people of the earth. Any financial law, housing law, any law of land and the course of nature, he has completely violated, man. Leviticus 25:31. But the houses of the villages, which have no wall round about them, shall be counted as fields of the country. They may be redeemed. They shall go out in the jubilee. Because it's like your land. Your land can't be sold forever. So if you have a house in a village, you apply that same concept, and the house can't be sold forever. At the year of Jubilee, it goes back out. And that's beautiful, man. You have a reset on debts. That's what the Jubilee is about. Anything that you owed, any expenses that you owed this brother, if you weren't even able to do it in the year of release or whatever the case may be, right? At the year of Jubilee, there's a great reset. Does the so-called white man do that, man? You can heap up debt and debt and debt forever, man. When you're born, you're in debt. Your credit score walks with you forever, man. He doesn't forgive you, man. You might have made a bad move. You know, you might have a bad investment. You might have been in a bond. He doesn't forgive you for that, man. He doesn't say after every 7 years, we're going to put your credit score at 750. You know, 7, whatever, man. No, man, you got to deal with it. All of these loans and stuff, you might have went to school, college, and, you know, you took out loans or unsubsidized Pell Grants, subsidized loans, unsubsidized. Hey, man, that stuff lives with you, man. 40 grand in debt. Can't buy. Then this devil won't let you down buy anything because your credit all jammed up. Then he told you in God we trust. Well, if you trust in the Most High, you're supposed to reset all my debts, man. That's what the law of Jubilee is all about. Let me actually read that. This is Leviticus chapter 25:10. And ye shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man into his possession, and ye shall return every man into his family. So that's why when Yahushua returns, it's going to be a spiritual jubilee. Yahushua is going to blow that trumpet, or the archangel. And liberty is going to be proclaimed, meaning freedom. And we're going to return back to our own possession. If you're from the tribe of Judah, the Most High going to put you in the land of Judah. If you're from the tribe of Benjamin, the Most High going to put you back in the tribe of Benjamin. If you're from the tribe of Manasseh, you're going to be put back in the land of Manasseh, etc. For all of the tribes. Every man is going to return to his own possession when Yahushua returns. He said he came to proclaim liberty to the captives. Yeah, that's a spiritual liberty. As you believe in the truth, you're set free. But also even a literal liberty. You're literally going to be set free from a birth certificate, from a social security card. You're going to be set free from a national ID. You're going to be set free from debts and credit scores. You're going to be set free from the hundreds of thousands of dollars you owe in debt. You're literally going to be set free from mortgages. You're going to be set free from payments, set free from rent. You're going to be set free from insurance. He's literally going to liberate you on every way possible. And you're going to be able to finally return to your family, man. You know? And that's beautiful and perfect through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Rashad. So no man is enslaved forever. You can't have a monopolized system and everything resets every 50th year, man. That's why these laws have to be kept according to the will and power of Yahweh Shemi Rashad. So this devil, he does usury, He violates the laws of economics. He violates the laws of land. He violates the laws of how society operates. And that's why the Most High is breaking them down little by little, man. So the true jubilee is actually coming, man. Wherein dwelleth righteousness. So going back on the dealing with this man and these different events in the earth. Another thing you got going on, right? Right? So like you bear with me. A restaurant apocalypse is starting to sweep across America, and that is really bad news for the U.S. economy. So you got a restaurant apocalypse. You got a retail apocalypse. You got a bank of apocalypse. What is the a restaurant apocalypse? These restaurants are shutting down. They're shutting down. Nobody can afford to go out and eat anymore. Nobody can afford to spend $50 on a meal, a family for 3. Nobody's going out to eat how they used to, man. You know, people are trying to struggle, they're pinching pennies, they're trying to survive. Right? Now, this is from June 2nd. It reads, a restaurant apocalypse is starting to sweep across America. And that is really bad news for the U.S. economy. Authored by Michael Snyder via the Economic Collapse blog. You can get a really good idea how the U.S. economy is doing by watching restaurants in your area. When the economy is booming, restaurant parking lots are full of chains and feverishly establishing new locations. But when the economy is struggling, restaurants get a lot less traffic, and poor performing locations get shut down. Right? So I'm not going to read this whole article, but all of these food chains, man. Banks, retail places, food chains, housing is getting too high. Right? Things are getting high, man. And it's getting real bad. Right? Let me jump down. It reads, most people have very little discretionary income to spend as a result of our cost of living crisis. And that is particularly true for our young adults. Americans under the age of 40 love to eat out. See, they study that stuff, man. But these days, most of them are experiencing financial stress, and this is having an enormous impact on the restaurant industry. So you got restaurants closing by the day, what they're calling a restaurant apocalypse. The end of all restaurants, your food chains, right? These things are shutting down, man. Right? Your favorite fast food spot, eventually these grocery stores, man. Right? And then you're not going to be able to have no food. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, right? Chapter 16. So again, it's time to wake up, man. It's time to wake up and realize, if you didn't wake up already, and if you didn't know, now's your time to know that you're living in the end of the world, man. Right? And you have to use this world as not abusing it. And I'm gonna say this too. If going over this, if you're getting all sad and nervous, they need to repent, man. If you're sad and you're kind of getting down because your money doesn't mean anything, or that you're not going to be able to prolong your life in America, then shame on you, man. Because your heart not right. Our forefathers, the Lord said, looking and hasting until the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire, man. So our forefathers was looking for this place to go down. You have men that are going to be martyred saying, Lord, how long, oh Lord, how long, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood of them on the earth, paraphrasing Revelation chapter 6 and 9. Even the souls of the martyrs that were slain for the word of God, they're looking to be avenged. They're looking for this place to go down. And here you are. I won't be able to live my life like I thought it would. Well, God, why are you breaking the economy down? Give me a little bit longer. I'm almost there. The Lord don't give a damn if you almost there, man. I almost saved up enough to finally go around the world. I almost got enough for that house. Right? Now, again, you use this world and don't abuse it. We got to qualify. Does this mean you just take all your money and just, no, man, and deplete it. No, man. And you survive, man, while you can. You know, do what you got to do. Make your ends meet. But understand that in due season, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And you can't trust in uncertain riches. Right? This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Because when this economy completely collapses, it's going to be a mix. What? Persecution, pestilence, famine. All of these things are going to happen. Wars are going to be happening. And we're going to be pilgrims on the earth, being persecuted and pursued by this man's military. Verse 41. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. You have to understand that, man. Everything you're buying, just know that you may not, or you won't, not even may, you won't be able to enjoy it as long as you think you're going to be able to enjoy it. Things that you're selling, and you may have, you sell cars, or you sell insurance, or you sell this. And the Lord said, hey, man, expect to flee away from these things. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that had no profit by it. He that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth, as if he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes. What does that mean? It means time is short, man. The Most High is saying time is short. He's letting you know that you investing your life in business affairs, financial expenditures, man. You investing your life in corporations, stocks, and bonds. You investing your life to build up yourself in this economy. Understand that at any given second, it can be taken away from you. So your focus should be on Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Right? And we go to work, we pay these bills, but we know at any given second, it can go down. That's why we invest in the Most High. We're spiritual riches, man. We pray, Most High willing, we're fasting, we're building up ourselves in the faith, we're teaching our people, and there's more that we can do, man. And what we do isn't enough. But you have other Israelites, all they think about is wealth in the world, man. All they spend more time studying how to get money and prosper than they do how to be righteous. They examine the economy more than they examine their own lives, man. You got to sow as if you don't reap. That's what the Most High said. You got to plant as if you're not going to gather the grapes, man. Doesn't mean don't plant. It means plant as if, hey, look, man, I may not be able to gather the fruit of my labors. That's the mentality that the Lord wants you to have. Verse 44. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. Right? So you might get married and you might not be able to have 5 children, man. I want my Israelite family. I'm going to finally buy a house. We're going to have a white picket fence and we're going to be a nice Israelite family. Hey, brother, you might not be able to ever experience that, man, in this world. You might not even be able to have children, man. And you might get married and all hell could break loose, man. The Lord said that they that marry not as the widowers, man. You might be single in this truth until Jacob's trouble. You might not marry not, man. Can't wait to finally get my Israelite wife. Right? Brother, you might get your woman in the kingdom, man. Hey, sister, you might get a husband in the world to come. On the days of evil where 7 women take hold of 1 man. Verse 45. And therefore, they that labor in vain. Why is it vanity? Because it's all going to be destroyed. It's all going to be taken away from you. The Lord said, strangers, when you read the later on in this chapter, that Esau is going to come in and rob you, man. Right? And take all your goods. So you're laboring in vain. These people are laboring in vain. Right? What did the Lord say in 2nd Ezra, chapter 15? Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Again, when these banks start completely collapsing, man, and there's no food, it's going to be riots and pandemonium. Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 19. Right? It's like it. Second Ezra, chapter 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Like I always say, man, all that neighborhood watch, the neighborhood cookout, neighborhood. Jake, you like to do the block party, right? You like to get the damn moon bounce, man, and block off the street and play the damn Gap Band and the Ozzy Brothers and Stevie Wonder and you like to get down, man. Right? You put the grill on and you do the block party and that's your neighbor down the street, man. You use his lawnmower, you gave it back to him. He helped you change your flat, man, when you was late for work. Y'all kind of talked a little bit when you was bringing the groceries in the house, man. Y'all might have talked about the big game here and there. Hey, these neighbors that you think are your best friends, these neighbors, you might have borrowed his ladder before, man. You had to clean your gutters out, or you might have got locked out your car. He kind of knew how to kind of get you there. Guess what? The Lord said a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Now, this is people that aren't under the protection of the Most High. Again, people are going to be beating on these doors, man. When these banks close, they can't have their money. There's no more food because their local store got looted and robbed, and it was set on fire. And they open their refrigerator, man, and they don't have enough. And their woman is complaining. We need something to eat. What are you going to do about it, Gerald? Gerald, what are you going to do? Your son is crying. Look at your daughter. She needs to eat. I'm hungry. Gerald. Eventually, Gerald, he's going to have to do something about it, man. Gerald might have been a coward, right? He might have been, a low-level guy, right? He might have been, a nerd. And eventually, Gerald is going to have to make some decisions. Gerald, what are you going to do? Now, Gerald, guess what, man? Gerald has neighbors, man. Rob, Lance, Brock, right? And Gerald, he begins to think, what neighbor can I go to get food? So he picks his local neighbor, man. They just had the family cookout, right? They let him borrow the lawnmower, etc., man. Right? He peeked over the fence like, what's that, Home Improvement, man? Right? And they was talking over the fence, eye to eye. And he's going to go over this guy's house, man. Now, Gerald is a hothead, man. Gerald doesn't know what's going on. So Gerald, he kind of peek in the window. Nobody's home. Kind of go through the back, look in there. I can't find nobody. Kind of go through the front door, give a little knock, right? He might knock on that door, man. Nobody really answered because this guy, Brock, he's in his house. He's telling his family to be quiet. Because guess what, man? This is the third guy that's knocked on his door this week asking for food. He already turned the first two guys away. Gerald, you're in too late. You're the third guy. He told his family, be quiet. We don't want to answer the phone, answer the door for any damn body, man. So this guy, he knocks again. Right? Now this guy's getting nervous. Gerald, he can't go back to his woman saying, Gerald, what did you do? Gerald. So Gerald, he can't go back with no food. He can't go back to his woman and live that life anymore, man, as a man. Gerald has to come back with food. So Gerald, he starts to damn beat against the door, man. Now, he normally wouldn't do this, but what did the Most High say? It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Now he's beating at the door. Right? He's kind of getting in. He's kind of getting in there. He's almost in there. Then this other guy, he got to kind of push the door. He might put his foot in the door. Gerald, what are you doing? What's gotten into you? Relax, Gerald. And Gerald not trying to hear that. All he can hear is the voice of his woman. Gerald. So he's beating the door. Trying to kick the door down, man. And this guy, he got to defend the door. And like I always say, man, when these events happen, only the strongest are going to survive. Not the spiritual men, but amongst these carnal men. Either Gerald is going to be a stronger man or Brock is going to be a stronger man. Now, Gerald, He might be strong. He got that adrenaline. He's a weak guy, man. He's, you know how these Edomites are, man. That school shooter spirit come in, start raging and raging and raging. His shoulder bleeding. He's still beating the damn door down. He kind of get in there, man. The damn door fall down. He run to the refrigerator. He looking for the food. Dude get up. He tackle him. They fighting. Gerald get a knife. Gerald, he wrestling, touching. He stab him in the neck, man. His wife screaming, "Oh no, what's going on? The children, get off my dad." Then he damn stabbed the son. And he grabbed food. He grabbed bread, canned goods. He go back home. His shirt beat up. He got blood all on him. And he comes back and he brings food to his woman, man. Gerald, oh my God, Gerald, what did you do? Gerald, what happened? He says, "There's your food, man." And these events are going to happen more and more. People are going to destroy their houses with the sword because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. People are going to lose their damn minds, man. Or they're not able to eat and provide for their families, man. In 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, you had a Gerald situation, but you had two women. Let me get this real quick. In 2 Kings 6, real quick, man. Right? In 2 Kings, the 6th chapter. Actually, before I get that, I want to get Isaiah 19. Right? Because in 2 Kings, you can read 2 Kings, right? I'm a little bit pressed for time. Right? But 2 Kings, man, they ate each other babies, man. And that one Eve finessed the other Eve, man, so they could eat her baby. Now you can say, well, hold on now. That's in the Bible. Yeah, that's in the Bible. You had two Eves, They said, today we're going to eat your baby. Tomorrow we're going to eat my baby because they ain't had no food to eat. It was a famine. There was no DoorDash or Instacart. And guess what? They had no food. So they ate her baby. They boiled her, right? They chopped the baby up. They ate the baby. Then the next day they said, we're going to eat your baby. She said, I don't know what you're talking about. So you're going to have these so-called black women, man, even losing their damn minds, eating their children, right? Isaiah chapter 19 and verse, this whole thing is good, man. Really, Isaiah 19:6. And they shall turn, now this is speaking about the breakdown of the Egyptian economy. Not ancient Egypt, but modern Egypt, meaning America. Banks collapsing, stores closing, prices going up, inflation. This is what this is going into. Isaiah 19:6. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flag shall wither. Everything is going to wither away, right? The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. I'm going to jump down to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 13. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. So all of these world leaders, they're not going to have any answers, man. These men on the stocks, the Congress, the House, they have to reach a deal to try to push the next debt ceiling higher and higher, and how much can we be in debt? And hey, they're not going to have any answers, man. They're going to clash heads and self-destruct this nation's economy. Verse 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So the Most High put a demon. It's an actual demon from the third heaven, put down in Babylon the Great, working on the minds of politicians, working on the minds of the elites, to cause them to make the worst decisions that they can ever make in their nation's history, man. Causing them to break down their own economy, causing them to go to war, causing them to be hated in the eyes of all nations. So they're walking around like a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Here's the point. Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So your job, side hustle, your business, there's no more work, man. All of this, a lot of, like even in the video, a lot of these major corporations or businesses that you work at, a lot of their income And how they operate is based off of the stocks, man. When people begin to pull out and take and sell all of their stocks and sell their, their shares and things of that nature, the damn net worth of those businesses is going to deplete, man. They're not going to be able to pay you. They're not going to be able to pay you your hourly wage, man. They're going to start doing layoffs, furloughs, firing people, man. More and more and more and more. Then eventually, they're going to come in and say, look, I'm sorry, everybody. As of today, we are officially out of business. People are going to be trying to find a job. I can't get a job. I can't find another hustle, man. Job competition's at an all-time high. Try to get a job. You might be there for 3 months. Then they cutting off people. Then you might get another job. You might be there for 4 months. Then they fire everybody. Eventually, all these jobs, all this stuff is going to be shut down. As the wars increase, disease, if these diseases continue to rise, people aren't going to be going into work, man. They're going to be quarantined in certain places. You're not going to be able to travel. Not going to be able to walk into your business, man. Hey, and guess what? These grocery stores, these banks, all this stuff is about to be shut down. Everything that life as you know it is about to take a drastic change for the better for the Israelites, man. But for those who refuse to repent, those who refuse to get their spirit right, life is going to get a lot worse, man. Right? Life is going to get a lot worse. Let's go to First Maccabees. We'll add a few more precepts. Let's actually go to First Maccabees chapter 13. All right, let's go to First Maccabees, the 13th chapter. This is First Maccabees, so I can bear with me, chapter 13 to 49. That's why it's important not to trust in uncertain riches, but trust in the living God, as it is written, man. Right? Build up yourself with the spiritual knowledge and spiritual wealth. Because again, if you had any glimpse of hope in America, I hope that hope is taken away from you, man. Knowing that this place is going down sooner than later. This is First Maccabees, chapter 13 and verse 49. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth, see that, nor go into the country, nor buy, nor sell. So it's going to be, the cities are going to be in such a strait. They're not going to be able to leave. They're not going to be able to go here and travel. Restrictions and bridges shut down and government martial law all over the country, man. In your local city, no food. People aren't going to be able to buy or sell, right? And that's what happens, man, when an economy shuts down. There's no more buying. There's no more selling. Wherefore, they were in great distress for want of victuals, because they're not going to be able to buy these things. And a great number of them perished through famine. So as people aren't able to buy their food, sell and do these matters, great people are going to perish of famine. And the Most High said that even these storehouses are going to be shut down, huh? These major food distribution places. Was that USA Food, Cisco, PFG, your Giants, all these different places that sell you food to your local stores, they're going to be shut down, right? This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. And if they're shut down, guess what, man? You're not going to have food at your local grocery store. You think that food just pops up in the middle of the damn day? You take one apple, another apple instantly appears? No, man. And these truck drivers, they run, man. They're going to be shut down. And once these truck drivers are shut down, because this economy is shut down, you're not getting anything, man. They're going to go potentially on strike, and right, and they're going to demand better wages and better pay, and eventually everything is going to just eventually hit the fan until that bubble bursts, man. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the 4 storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So all of the 4 storehouses are going to be found empty. That's why you have a restaurant apocalypse. That's why you have a retail apocalypse. That's why you have all of these stores closing down, the businesses closing down, and banks closing down. Those are the places that were once sown with people, money, wealth. You had long lines of people are going out to eat and having a good time. Now food is scarce. People are trying to survive, man. They're saying you can't even buy a house anymore. Mortgage is at an all-time high. If you at the age of 30, don't buy a house. So things are very grim. And these full malls, and you don't even see malls like that anymore, man. They're shutting down, and everything's becoming worse and worse for the inhabitants of Babylon the Great, right? Everything's becoming worse and worse. Let's go to First Maccabees, the 3rd chapter, right? This is First Maccabees, chapter 3. And again, for the 7th time, if you think that you can trust in this economy and trust in this man's world, you're definitely not going to make it, man, right? Because Most High is letting you know throughout the precepts that this economy is going down the drain, right? This is the currency isn't worth anything, and that's what happened in ancient Rome. This First Maccabees, chapter 3 and 27, right? First Maccabees 3 and 27. Now, when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. So he's trying to gather his army to fight against Judas. But check this out. Because Esau, he's going to gather his army and try to go to war. He opened also his treasury or his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that's what's going to happen. The money of their treasury, the money that they print, the money that you think has so much value, it's all going to fail. That's what happened to the ancient Greeks, man. That's what happened to Antiochus Epiphanes IV of the Seleucid dynasty, or kingdom rather. He saw that the money of his treasuries failed. Didn't it happen in Egypt? Didn't the money fail in Egypt, man? In Genesis, what is that, the 47th chapter, if I'm not mistaken? Let's get that in Genesis chapter 47. I believe that's verse 15, right? This is Genesis chapter 47. That's what happened when Joseph was around, man. And Pharaoh. Genesis 47 and 15. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, "Give us bread, for why shall we die in thy presence, for the money faileth?" What do you think they're going to be doing to these grocery stores? We want food, huh? Now that the store manager, he might come out, "Hey, look, guys, everybody calm down, right? Everybody just hold your peace. You know, look, we're going to do a line, and everybody come up, and you kind of get one meal at a time." Do you think somebody's trying to hear that, man? You have women holding their babies on their arms, man, rocking their baby, and you're going to have people with families out there, man. Hey, why should we listen to you? Everybody calm down. Then eventually, hey, somebody going to throw something at this guy, man. Maybe a rock or something. His head going to be bleeding. You know, he's going to try to cover himself. Then you're going to have a mob. It's going to turn to a mob. This guy's going to try to come in and lock the door. And they're going to shut them automatic doors and lock them. And hey, guess what? These people, they're going to beat on the door. Then you're going to have one guy that says, "Get out the way. And he got a big ass rock. Everybody move out the way. People going to move out the way. He take a big rock. Then he throw it. It don't break the first time. So he pick it up and he throw it again. It kind of crack. Then he pick it up one more time and he bust it through. Then everybody just run there. And they're going to come after this guy. That store manager, man. He might be in the back. He lock his office on the phone trying to get 911. "Help me. There's a riot." Hey, 911, man. They looking to eat too, man. You think the police live off of air? You think the military just live off of water that just No, man. They buy. They sell. They get paid, man. So you got people saying, "Well, I thought in Egypt, I thought they came out of the famine. I thought Joseph saved them." He did, man. Where's Joseph at now? Joseph isn't coming to save Biden and Trump from the breakdown of this economy, man. It's not going to be another Joseph. Well, I thought in Psalms 105 it said that Joseph taught the senators wisdom. Hey, guess what, man? You think the Israelites are going to go and break these scriptures down to Esau? Say, hey, look, man. Okay, here's Leviticus 25, Deuteronomy 23, Deuteronomy 24, Exodus so-and-so. Here, keep all of these laws. And then you got one Israelite. He came out this camp and he's breaking the scriptures down to Biden saying, okay, let's make this man second in command. And he becomes the new Joseph. And ain't going to be no other Joseph. You got a brother saying, well, I thought the Lord required that which is past. That's not talking about Joseph coming back, man, and saving Egypt again. It's not happening. So you had a mob out there, man. Let me read this again. Genesis 47:15. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians, that's a mob right there. Hey, they probably had pitchforks and, knives and weapons, man, came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And they going to know who got the money, right? They probably asked their neighbor. Then they eventually say, hey, look, man, we know who got the money. So they're going to storm these Capitol buildings again. That January 6th? That was child's play. That was a scripted child's play, psyop government operation for madness to see how the people respond, react, how they're going to talk about it. That's nothing. You're going to have the real deal coming back, man. And all these major cities, man. If you live in a major city, New York, LA, Philly, Phoenix, right? Houston, these big cities, man, it's going to be madness out there. It's going to be pandemonium in these big cities, man. Let's go back to this in Isaiah. First Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 3:29. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes and the countries were small, because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land, and taken away the laws which had been of old time. So the so-called white man, in this time, he saw that all his money failed, and the tributes in the country were small. So meaning the other countries aren't going to be dealing with him anymore. The tribute in China, meaning their exports are going to become smaller and smaller. The tributes of Russia are going to become smaller and smaller. The tributes of India are going to become smaller and smaller. That's why you have BRICS. That's why BRICS said they're going to do what? They're going to form their own payment system. They're going to have their own currency. BRICS will create payment system based on digital currencies and blockchain. They're not dealing with your dollar anymore, man. It says for some time now, the BRICS grouping, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, right? That acronym. For some time now, the BRICS grouping has been making efforts to reduce its reliance on US dollars. That's why in First Maccabees 3, it said that the tribute money failed. And the countries, they were small. Why? Because of the dissension, because of Esau's robbery and murder, how they deal with the other nations. And what else? And plague, which he had brought upon the land. Because all he does is bring plagues on the land. So his own works are going to testify against him. And why is this happening? What is the ultimate cause? Here it is. And taking away the laws which had been of old time. He took away all of the laws that have been of old time, and it's going to lead to the breakdown of his entire system. Because again, the laws tell you how to operate a society with financial matters, how usury is supposed to be conducted, the selling of lands, the selling of houses, the upper and the nether millstone and pledges, and taking away a man's garment and paying that man that same day, man, and a hireling for 3 years and a year of release after the 6 years of service. And all these things are in the law. He took away all of the laws that have been of old time. That's why all the money of his treasures are going to fail. That's why in Isaiah 19, it says there should be no work in Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. That's why, again, you have banks, 1,300 banks closing, right? Over 1,300 banks closing, right? Bank of America. You have, what else did we go into? Dollar Tree, right? Closing many stores. The U.S. global debt is $34 trillion, right? And many other things we went into, letting you know. The mortgage rates at a 2-decade high of 8%, right? And what else, man? We went into the restaurant apocalypse, the retail apocalypse. There's no more an American dream. So every day you're getting closer and closer to this society falling apart and this economy completely collapsing. Completely collapsing. And again, if you want to go back, you can watch this video on your own, man. And he actually went deep into detail and he broke it down by day. Day 1, day 2, etc. Up to 10 days, what's going to happen once the economy crashes. And it links directly up with the Bible, man. Every precept we went into, I mean, it's in there, man. The riots, the looting, how the other nations are going to respond, how they're going to break away from America, and eventually eat her flesh and destroy her with fire. America is a shadow of their former self, man. Right? Let's get maybe one, maybe two more. We're going to close up. Right? This is Revelation, the 18th chapter. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18, and I'm going to read verse 9. This is what happened to Tyre and Zidon, man. When you read about Tyre and Isaiah the 23rd chapter, Zechariah the 9th chapter, chiefly Ezekiel 26, Ezekiel 27, right? Ezekiel 28 is more parabolic. But when you read these chapters about Tyre and Zidon, they were a maritime powerhouse, right? Dominant in trade. Read Ezekiel 27. And what happened to Tyre and Zidon? At one time, they were America before America, man, right? They were the top economy on the earth. What happened to them? The Most High shut it down. What happened to the Romans? What happened to the Greeks? What happened to the Syrians, the Medes, the Persians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians? Where's all these kingdoms at? Everybody had power on the earth, man. And where are they at now, man? Who the hell is talking about Egypt? Who's talking about Greece? Who's talking about Rome, man? I've never heard anybody say, well, what the hell is Assyria doing, man? Nobody's talking about the Assyrians, man. They were here, they had their time, they ruled the earth, and they're gone. Stop acting like America's anything different. Before I get there, let me go to Job, the 24th chapter, man. Right? One of my favorite chapters in Job. This is a mean chapter right here. I mean, Job 24, it's a mean chapter, man. Right? But I'm going to jump down. The Lord speaks about how they oppress the earth, they take away the pledge, and they rob the fatherless and the widow. But this is Job 24 and verse 20. This whole thing is good, man. You can do a whole breakdown of Job 24. Job 24 and 22. This is speaking about the so-called white man. He draweth also the mighty with his power. He riseth up, and no man is sure of life. Because when he rise up, you don't know if you're going to get bombed, destroyed. You don't know what's going to happen to your home when Esau come around. Verse 23. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. It may seem like America's flourishing. Doesn't mean the Most High eyes aren't watching. The angels are recording everything that Babylon the Great is doing. It may seem like nothing is happening. But let's read on. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. So they're exalted for a little while. Let's say 1619. Let's say 1776 to 2024, man. That's a little while, man. That's a little while, man. That's not 3,000 years, 1,000 years, man. This kingdom is a small, quick kingdom, man. This is a little moment. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other. Who's the all other? All the old kingdoms that ruled, man. The Babylonians, the Medes, the Persians, the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Hittites. When the Elamites ruled, you understand? When all of these nations ruled, where are they now? They were all taken out of the way. By who? By Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Now, verse 25, it says, and if it be not so now, who will make me a liar and make my speech nothing worth, man? What is that? I mean, stop playing with me, man. The Most High said, it may not be now. But if it don't happen, you calling me a liar, man. The Most High is talking that talk, man. Who's going to make the Most High a liar? Who's going to say Babylon the Great is going to live forever? Who's going to say America is going to prosper for the next 400 years? Call the Most High a liar if you want to. Now, you could call a man a liar. David said in his haste, all men are liars, man. You're justified. Man does lie. Man goes off. They have the grain of evil seed from the heart of Adam from the beginning. Pursuing 2 Ezra 4 and 30. But who's going to make the Most High lie? Who's going to say a speech doesn't mean anything? Who's going to deny Revelation, the 18th chapter? Who's going to say Jeremiah 50 is going to come to pass? Jeremiah 51, Isaiah 19. Who's going to say that these things don't mean nothing? Say it if you want to, man. Let's go to Revelation, the 18th chapter. This is Revelation chapter 18 and verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth of her merchandise anymore. Those are these international corporations that deal with America, right? The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men, even slaves, have fueled this man's economy and the souls of men, men that have sold their soul, right? Verse 14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, for thou, Slaki, shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was decked, Slaki, that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. America made everybody rich. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you of her. And you're supposed to rejoice when you hear the economy breaking down. You're supposed to celebrate. You're supposed to turn up. You're supposed to call upon the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, man. Because the Most High is finally avenging you of the sins of this wicked, corrupt kingdom. Verse 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. And with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach Wamalak Yahushai. Babylon the Great will collapse, right? Babylon the Great will fall. Babylon the Great, which is the spiritual name of America, will be utterly destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Russia, China, Iran, and all nations, even the EU, the 10 horns, They're going to hate the whore, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Most High willing you were edified. Kwam Yashala. Shalom.